2 all off the rip. It's actually going to be Dens that turns up, and these are just going to be standout players across the board. It was the Aussies, really, for me, that were standing out from the Paris Legion the first time around. Dens and Shock were playing out of their minds in the respawn. Their KDs look ridiculous. We saw that towards the start, and, well, off the rip, already quite a few kills going their way.
Yep, as it stands, a small lead for Paris Legion, nothing too much, and of course New York are inside the hill, so they'll chip away at that early lead and take the lead themselves. But it's this man on your screen now, Luca, who really all eyes seem to be on when you talk about Paris Legion.
I mean, he's going to be the expected superstar coming out of Australia, right? He was the guy that as soon as he turned 18, they were like, he's the new man on the roster, the new man turning up for the country/continent to go big. But right here, he's going to falter. It's actually going to be Zuma that shuts him down.
And that's a player I do really want to talk about, because from what we saw from opening weekend, Zuma played so well. Yes, you can look at a few search and destroy performances and say, that didn't really feel like Zuma of old. But it does. When you watch his respawn performances specifically, you feel like he's back in an old Call of Duty Ghost form, if nothing else. This honestly could be his year.
I mean, I was expecting the question of like, who do you want to see on the subliners kind of step it up? And for me, it was like everyone but Zuma. Right, it wasn't a one man, it was the rest of the team kind of situation. But either way, off the opening rip, the subliners get a phenomenal amount of time. However, now they have to break into P2.
Right, and we had this conversation with Revan, ironically enough. We were watching New York scrim yesterday, and it was this map specifically. He said, yeah, you know, P2 is one of those where if you rotate early, you get a full 60. It's simple, and ironically enough, New York broke within the first 10 seconds. But it is a tough one to try and hold, Chance.
And at the same time, though, you talk about how impossible it is to break, and now the subliners have it surrounded, and they break through seemingly with ease. And we were cracking the joke of Revan. They break it all the time, so I don't know why they're so in their heads about it, but the success is there. They had a nice lead after P1. They end up breaking through on P2, and they're just going to re-extend that lead that they built for themselves. But of course, if you break through on P2, now you have to rotate to the next hill as well, and they're going to have to do it as soon as possible.
New York so far playing well, 65-38. As finally, the second hill is done. We'll rotate over towards B3. Just a quick kind of upgrade. Zuma currently stands 8 and 7, leading the charge for the New York subliners. On the flip side, it's Kismet. We haven't talked about him, but I'm sure when we get to game 2, we will. Just a leader in search for Paris.
Leader in search for Paris, but now you're just watching every single pair off of players almost fall one by one. Kismet, though, is going to be racking up some of the hill time, and the subliners, well, are able to get 4 down, clear out the hill, and they're going to be able to break on through. So every single hill, it's been Paris gets there first. The subliners, though, eventually overwhelm them.
Again, a glance at the stats. Dens picking things up a little bit for Paris Legion, but still, it's New York inside the hill. 20 seconds remain. Luca finds one. He'll find the second. Zuma would be that kill, but his teammate's slaying out. That's the important thing, and as he watches across, another easy double for Luca. Paris Legion may have been down, but they're making a little bit of a comeback here, Chance.
And right now, it's actually Paris doing a pretty good job on this hill just with the AR presence. We've seen Meta talks all the time about it being 4 MP5s, 1 M4. They're actually running a double M4 setup, having quite a bit of success with it. And you see, again, one of the standout players for Paris back in Minnesota right now, at least tied for leading the lobby in terms of slaying. Either way, though, it's back to the subliners inside the hill, and Tatch able to pick up another kill. Well, he's got to wait for his teammates to come give him some backup because Paris are trying to surround him.
Tatch on your screen should have the first engagement, and that's going to be Kismet, but in actual fact, Paris Legion will start to flood the pinches in. Shocks gets himself a double. Paris break.
Paris break, and they're in free and clear. 30 seconds left on the hill, and, well, they might be able to at least tie the game up so long as New York doesn't get inside, and you can already see New York, they're not putting a ton of pressure on that hill. They don't want to overextend themselves. They're trying to make sure they keep that map control, and that's why you see the arrow at the bottom left corner of the minimap. He's just there to watch mid. He's not going to move. He's going to be that anchor, trying to keep those spawns, well, towards the left side of the map.
Temp springs into life. There's a double, and honestly, he might not be done yet. There's 3 for Temp. Can he find number 4? 6 seconds remain on the hill. It's a close game, 96-92. As Temp wants to contest the final few points. There's going to be 3 players lining up, and unfortunately for him, only finds 1. Dens again there for the trade.
And still just a great job of that map control. Attach even picking up double kills, and that is just pouring the pressure on because New York, they spawn up 2 steps away from the hill. Paris, it's going to be a bit more of a hike, so nice little spread on the map for the subliners. Zero going to be the man inside the hill, just waiting for these players to start funneling through, setting them up for easy kills.
And this could be a big moment for Trave. He's able to try and find a couple of kills. He has a teammate in support as well. New York could build themselves a nice lead, but unfortunately Attach getting a little ahead of himself, takes down his teammate Zuma, and now has to really redirect his attention back towards the hard point. Zed will fall. Attach taking his time, but unfortunately for him, maybe that misplay could cost New York, but still, they're inside the hill.
And now we're thinking multiple hills in advance. You got the subliners right now fighting with the right side of spawns. That way they have it for P2, and this is being done before that first hill even pops again. But either way, the expectation, these two teams gonna go ahead head-to-head. A very tight game here, and frankly, I'm looking at a couple players on the side of Paris like Zed to heat things up just a little bit more. The only player in the lobby without double digits in kills.
Yeah, a little slow start from him, 8 and 12. Does have 25 seconds hill time, but in terms of hill time, it's Dens at 15 and 11 with a minute and a half hill time so far, but with 48 seconds and almost a tied game, Luca on your screens. What damage can he try and do here for Paris? Point neutral, no one on it. Luca trying to slay from above. He's found one. There's number 2, almost with 3. Zuma has to play his life.
And this is another situation where the ARs right now for Paris are just coming up big. The first time Paris really had a lead this entire game, and now Zed's allowed to play. The problem is, well, the top side of the minimap is open, but you see the New York Subliners, they don't know exactly if they can force through or rotate towards the current hill on P1. Players inside right now just getting cleaned up by Kismet, but it's a similar situation again where New York, they're not able to secure those right side spawns. They're gonna have to break through on P2.
Tough, but you mentioned, of course, in the first rotation, how hard that can be. They get very, very easy every time we've watched them play this map. We'll see, though, off the rip, Paris Legion set up, ready to go. It's important now they get the first couple of kills, the first push from New York, and of course for Paris, they now could build themselves a sizable lead. Is this maybe where New York throw this map away?
Well, this is a big moment for Paris just to extend it. You got Zed as that leading cutoff man. He's going to fall, but you just see the presence that Paris have just across the bottom, or the right side of the minimap, excuse me. And, well, New York, you're going to have an opportunity just to flood through. The smokes are going to help, but even when they're picking up these kills, Paris is just going to consistently spawn right on top of each other, and that's what makes it so difficult to break through. You basically need a clean 5 down followed by a second clean 5 down to get through.
20 seconds remain. Could there be one last push? Well, there's the first 5 down. You ask and you shall receive, but Paris is still going to smoke close to your point, and New York should know this. Zuma turns, unfortunately not going to find the kill. He's going to give the information to his teammates, but now it's about just delaying time, contesting as much as you can. Paris don't even want it. They're going to push out. We rotate to P3 with Paris Legion in the lead, 179 to 145.
Now you can see accuracy. He's going to be in his home. He wants to live inside the hard point, be posted up for as long as possible. And, well, you see that mid-map. He's got clearance there. Everyone for Paris is going to be trying to flood through. Well, pretty much the right side. Accuracy gets the one free kill, and, well, you can see how easy his job is, honestly. He's got his teammates, has the cover everywhere for him, but eventually the nade is going to take him down and get him out of that hill.
New York still trying to come back into this one. 35 seconds remain. Quick glance at your stats. Really, the only thing that stands out to me is accuracy, having a great game. 24 and 17, 38 seconds of hill time. He's going to have to keep on that pace if you want to try and come back and take game 1 in this series. Zero back on your screens, though. Looking to maybe try and find a cut mid-map. Kismet will be there, and Zero should be able to find at least one, maybe more. 2 more plays in front. Den shuts him down, though. However, New York in the hill. If they get the final 9 seconds scrap time, it's basically a tied game.
Back and forth game, as you would expect. And now the subliners actually have maybe a mini advantage rotating to do. You see the kill feed. That's going to be a clean 4 down. They're going to have that rotation very early on and try to extend it as much as possible. Now Paris, well, honestly, have their work cut out for him. You got to attach up top. He's on a 4-3, starting to get a little bit hot.
Can he do more damage? He's actually found number 5. It's Luca, but unfortunately he does fall, but it's New York in the lead. 197, 184, 0. Is it your time to shine? 2 in front of him from Paris, but Temp is there. The trade comes through. New York hold the hill.
Doing just enough. It's one last man standing and 10th the last one alive, and now you got that 20-point lead trying to bump it up just a little bit further. Happy to let this hard point contest. You see Zero going to be a bit of the bait, but Kismet actually flies down, takes down 2 from the steps, and just like that, Paris, well, they're good to get that final 15 a scrap.
Dens should be able to find 1, and that scrap time chance, as you mentioned, so important. Again, puts us at almost a tied game as we go into the next hard point, which will rotate in a couple of seconds. Kismet picking up the scrap time, but again, it's all about that rotation. Zuma wins a big gunfight, Zero with 2 as well. This is going to be a hard one for Paris Legion to break.
Well, right now you see Paris on the bottom left of the minimap. They're really trying to put the pressure down there. That way they can just block those spawns from the subliners. And, well, Zed, that's his job. That's why he's playing slow. But now you got all 5 players for Paris working their way towards this hill. Accuracy, of course, in his home, ready for the gunfight. This
is one thing you could probably fault New York from opening weekend, was their kind of inability really to close out in these clutch situations, but that is pretty much perfect. They can win it here. 13 seconds. Luca has to try and make a play for Paris. He's found 1. Can he get number 2 and 0? No, he can't. And with 5 seconds left, Kismet is left scrambling towards the hill. Will he even be able to get in? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And that is game number 1. New York Subliners take it 250 to to 2-0-2.
And this is the subliners we've been expecting to see, Ben. They were 0-3 in hardpoint before that map right there, and they look fantastic. And I'll tell you, that kill that Temp had at the end on Zed, that was the play, right? Paris are trying to lock down those black spawns just to block out the subliners. As soon as Temp turns and burns like that, you know New York are going to be happy.
And again, it's super important to note that for New York, they look good, right, at times in opening weekend. When you watch their hardpoint, for maybe the first hill rotation, then maybe in the second rotation, you're like, okay, they're playing as we expect. But closing out the hardpoints was what really seemed to be their thorn in their side. That, a much better display, more composure, putting the pressure on Paris early in the series.
And especially for a team that has it in their head of how difficult P2 is to break. Well, the first time they had a great deal of success, they made it look easy. Even the second time around where they don't ever really get the clear-cut break, they still take Paris out of the hill for maybe 20 seconds out of the full 60. Which is not bad. It's respectable. It helps you for the rotation going on. And then ultimately, in my mind, it's accuracy. He's the litmus test of the team. If his players in front of him are falling around him when he's trying to be inside the hill, his stats are going to look terrible. So when you see him leading the lobby in terms of slaying, that means everything is going right for this New York team.
Of course, it's a great game out of Zuma as well, a player we kind of praised highly. But the one thing that we mentioned, search and destroy, Paris Legion, there's one player you have to talk about every time they play search. It's Kismet. The man is so, so talented. We got to see it all throughout the season last year, and he started this season very, very good, as long as he didn't have a sniper in his hand.
Well, I mean, so he was respectable with the sniper, but he's just the type of player that you would prefer to cause as much chaos on the map as possible.
You don't want him to have a sniper in his hand.
But again, if it works, it works. But it wasn't the best thing in the world.
It didn't work.
Either way, him and Zed as a duo as well, because I think Zed put up a 1.39 in search over the event. Kismet with a 1.3, so they're neck and neck. But those two players have been the duo of sorts, the American and the Brit, doing what they can.
Well, we'll talk more about Search and Destroy in just a sec. Want to have a quick glance at our Scuff Gaming play of the game. It was a close map number 1, but it was closed out right at the very end. Some massive kills coming in from New York, which did just enough to see game number 1 go their way.
And again, honestly, dealer's choice on which kills exactly you want to get. And frankly, it was just the win.
Just the win.
Was the play
the win
of the
is
game.
the play of the game.
Hey, if you win, that's the entire goal. Disgusting stuff we see on that final scoreboard.
Hey, man, they close it out. That's what counts, right? It's what we talked about so far for New York. But back to the conversation.
Best in the business, man.
Of course.
Best in the business.
What you want to talk about, Kismet, right? His search and destroy, I kind of laughed a little bit with Paris. After they played their second series, they went to do an interview with some of the media in one of the media rooms, and I just finished doing something myself. I walked out. I was like, oh, Kismet, dude, really good job. Just maybe don't use a sniper in search and destroy. And he kind of went, ha, ha, ha. And all of his teammates were like, nah, dude, he was killing it. I was like, was he, though? And even Kismet himself was like, yeah, you probably won't see me do that much for the rest of the season. So for me, you make the perfect point. Cause as much chaos as possible, right? That's what we know Kismet can do in Search and Destroy, the flanks, just the crazy mid-map pushes sometimes. He's just very, very creative, and he's a player you want to see as mobile as possible.
I mean, he hasn't reached like Fellow or Zuma status with the flanks or the mid-map pushes yet, but
not yet.
Still an agent of chaos. And like, I've never seen a player so happy when they get like a specific map, be like, this is my wheelhouse, this is where I want to be.
This is me, baby.
Kismet's one of those guys, man. He does not lack confidence in himself at all, and this is the perfect kind of map for him. We say it quite a bit, but Ramaza, again, the min-map pressure is going to be huge. You can cause so much chaos with all the doors, Ben. Frankly, just with all the doors that are down there, hide behind them, burst on through. There's a ton of plays that you can make with them. And just, if you got to keep an eye on a player on the side of Paris, it has to be Kiz.
Oh, dude, you're absolutely right. And again, on the other side, you look at the duo of Attach and Zuma, and you say, all right, opening weekend, we weren't impressed in Search. There was a couple of donuts that came out. Don't think we're not going to mention it, New York, because we absolutely are. You cannot have that happen again. These are two players that when you think of their careers, when you think about what's made them so, so good, you think Search and Destroy, whether it's Zuma flanks, Attach in his 1v1s. He never loses his 1v1s, but you cannot be going as negative as they were. I mean, a donut in Search for players of that caliber, unacceptable.
And the crazier thing to me is you only played 2 maps of Search and Destroy. Attach and Zuma dropped donuts in one of them, and they still had a higher KD than accuracy over the course of like the weekend for Search.
Why you gotta do it to him?
Not ideal. I mean, again, as a team, just not ideal. They just did not have a good run of it. However, we only saw them on Piccadilly. Here on Ramaza, though, they at least have the man advantage for now.
Well, it's New York on the attack. Attach will be carrying the bomb already. A one-man advantage has developed. 4 versus 3, advantage to New York. And as you can see, New York thinking a little bit about the B site. They do have control, though. They want to try and rotate, force maybe a 4 versus 1 or a 3 versus 1 at the A side. Definitely possible.
And this might just be waiting for Dead Silence to make a play. Attach is going to know that a player's upstairs. You can see him trying to work with Zuma just a little bit to set up this pinch and just about making the move. Shox falls right down. Attach was sitting there waiting for it. Had Zuma for the trade, but not even needed. That leaves Dens and Luka in a 2 versus 4.
Could be possible. I think for me, it's that top orange arrow. It's Luka. And if he can try and collapse in quick enough, maybe the play could be made. But if he takes too long, of course, at that point, bomb's already planted now for New York. So this 2v4 just got a little tougher. And, well, actually watching the flank, Luka will fall. Now it's all down to Dens. The 1v4. Surely, there's absolutely no chance of this. Time ticking. And finally, the kill comes through. New York take round number 1.
And that's the power of having Dead Silence, or not having Dead Silence at the end, where all 4 players on the map know exactly where you are. They know exactly where to look. Attach and Zuma going on the hunt, 0, even with the MP5, just holding it down. But very clean early round from the New York subliners, carrying that momentum from the first hard point into game number 2.
Oh, round 2, of course, will be Paris Legion on the attack. We'll see, can they try and turn things around. Of course, only Zed getting a pick for Paris Legion in round number 1. We'll see if, as mentioned, he can try to get it around there. So Attach on the screen's been very, very aggressive. Now chance over towards B.
This is the most hesitant bomb pickup I've seen in my entire life. A player just sitting in spawn, just debating on whether he wants to grab it or not. But now you have Temp. You can just hear all the doors opening and closing around him. He knows the player is going to be up top above him, but Attach, well, has a couple players in front. But I think when Paris don't grab the bomb, a player is probably having some sort of issue. And, well, the great feature we have, Ben, we can pause the game.
Dude, you know, I didn't know about that until opening weekend. It just came up game pause. I was like, wow, the future is here. It's pretty cool.
I love Beanox, bro. Like, they were in a, I can't remember what event it was last year. Actually, it was Miami. I do remember. And just hanging out with the Beanox guys and just talking about all the features. And I was like,
game pause.
Do we have a pause feature? They were like, we don't have it yet, but we're working on it. But
Shout out to
here,
those guys. And
it is wonderful. And Beanox are my favorite people, Ben. Yeah. My absolute favorite.
I don't disagree.
Well, the British crowd, then Beanox.
Okay. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. But I've just been told it's just a controller issue, so it should be resolved very, very quickly. And we'll get back into the action. Of course, the second round was just about to get exciting there, Chance, it felt like.
Absolutely. And again, you see like the mid-map presence is always going to be important. Like if you get a first blood mid-map and you gain any sort of control on either side, everyone that's over towards the actual site basically just has to stop. But pressure's over towards B. The pause feature just kicks back in. Already kills get traded. Still a true 4 versus 4, but then accuracy and Zuma kill everything.
And that's one of those. I don't think Paris expected that. New York straight at him for the 2-0 lead, and this is more like the New York we expect to see when we talk about Search and Destroy. 2 very quick rounds and a very quick flank as well.
I was going to say, and Zuma flank.
There
as much as we were talking about Kismet being the agent of chaos, again, Zuma, this is what he's been known for 7, 8 years, something like that. This is his absolute wheelhouse. So on the flip side, got to keep an eye on him. But the litmus test for New York is accuracy.
Mentioned it before.
The man is 5-0. That's when things are going phenomenal.
Yeah, dude, a great start from him. And speaking of good starts, Zuma 2-0 as well, hasn't died yet. Kick things off on board with accuracy himself. The 5-0 start looking very, very good, but if he can try and find a first blood here, I think he spotted Shox just. But Shox will scramble away. Of course, New York back on the attack. Can accuracy find that first blood? Oh, well, that's not a great nade. Well, he didn't fall, but Temp is already through.
Temp managed to go through, and again, it's that mid-map pressure that makes it happen. Now Attach is swarming. Free gunfight for him. That's actually going to be a trade-up, but New York, as soon as they get that first kill, they have all the pressure in the world onto the site. Keep in mind, you actually have Zuma going on. Once again, a massive flank with the MP5, shuts Luka down and has Zed locked in his sights.
Crowd appreciating Zuma's strong Search and Destroy performances as well. 3-0. Can he find more? Zed and Den still alive. I will say, shout out to Zuma's dad. He's here as well in attendance. And I feel like Zuma always plays better in front of his old man. So far, that is true. And so far, New York are cruising through Paris Legion. Looking to go 2-0 up in the series here. And we mentioned the story, right? For Paris Legion. They played so very well opening weekend. But Was it a fluke? You hate to say it so early, but what was it a fluke? And what did we get from New York? Was it really the ceiling for that team? I think we both agree. No, absolutely not. This is looking more like the New York we expect to see.
And again, like, it's one of those situations where I'm staring at the minimap and trying to figure out who that arrow flanking is. Why do you even have to think about it? Of course, it's going to be Zuma.
Yeah, of course.
He's hanging out at 4-0. Accuracy hanging out at 5-0. It's been a field day. Already, New York has won more rounds in these first 3 rounds than they did the entirety of Minnesota.
One of the really big things you look at on the Paris Legion side of things is Kismet 0-3. There's another pause comes through. Tactical pause this time, I reckon. Slow the game down if you're Paris, right? You want to just, you know.
My controller, guys, I don't know what's going on with it, but we might need to take a bit of a break.
I don't know. 3-0 down. Either way, though, as we mentioned, New York looking a lot more like the New York I think we expected to see opening weekend and didn't. I mean, you talk about game 1, the hardpoint, they close it out. The first hardpoint win, the search and destroy. Now they've won more rounds here in London than they did opening weekend. So overall, a much better showing so far.
I mean, this is the beautiful thing about hot takes. You have an incredibly limited amount of information we get from the first week, including New York having to play FaZe. And we know FaZe has been fantastic. The first series, maybe you just get off to a slow start. So now we form all of our opinions, decide everything. It's just going to be facts. And then the first series comes underway. New York already not even exceeding expectations, just matching what we thought they were going to be from the start. At the same time, though, a couple tactical pauses come in. Paris talk over their strategy just a little bit, figured out and be like, all right, we know Zuma's going to flank. I don't know why we had to figure out 3 rounds to make sure that happened. Just watch it.
Yeah,
do what accuracy does. Just stare at it the entire time for 2 minutes straight.
I think he's
It'll be okay.
2 kills so far this game, doing just that. One was against Luca in one of the early rounds. I think it was round number 1. But you're absolutely right in terms of hot takes and what you can expect from teams. And it is worth mentioning again, if you are just tuning in this weekend, very different than what we saw in opening weekend. Tournament format here. So there will be a champion, there will be a winner. The question is, can London do it in London? How sweet that would be. Of course, for everyone else, they would love to deny London privilege, and it starts with New York and Paris.
And I will say, what a fantastic hoodie on that stunning young man in the front row, Ben. I don't know where he got it from, but he's got great taste.
Thanks, Jess. Appreciate that guess.
I'll do it again.
Appreciate you. Game still paused. I would assume it's the same issue as last. I have a quick glance down at main stage, and everyone seems good. Well, same controller, same player. Maybe we should get a new controller. Might fix the issue.
Just re-talking over how to watch the flank on Ramaz. You got to figure out. You go to the B site, just have someone sit in the tunnel, turn all the way around. You can effectively leave someone in spawn as well if you want to watch it as well. But again, Zuma's been feasting for now. Accuracy has been feasting for now. Got to see if they can continue that. And of course, from the side of Paris, figure something out. I mean, it's not complicated. I'm assuming they'll be able to bounce back in this game as well. But if anything, it's nice for them that the pace gets slowed down.
So here's a question. What if New York just blow through Paris? What does that then do for your perception of Paris Legion?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, my perception hasn't, like, it would be interesting if Nameless's power ranking is like when all is said and done in like the next couple months actually meld in like to exactly what they thought they were going to be.
They might.
I would say any team that went 0-2 or 2-0, my opinion hasn't changed drastically.
Okay.
I still think the Empire are going to be top 3 team in the game. I expect great things. I still think the New York Subliners are somewhere in the middle of the pack, but I think they're going to get better as time goes on. And Paris had a great start, but I think they're going to have to claw and dig for every single win against every team they play.
Well, that's enough waffle. Back into the game. New York Subliners 3-0, the advantage they have currently. For Paris Legion, they're on the attack. And so far, it's one of those patient rounds of Search and Destroy where everyone just waiting for that dead silence to make a play.
This is actually New York with quite a bit of pressure. I mean, they are very far pushed up on the map. Temp knows, waiting for the time to set up a kill. Now he spotted 2-player. Kismet's going to be free. Knows Lucas down low, but does the smart thing, just tries to stay alive, and easy first blood for New York.
Temp find one more. Well, he's seen the cross, and that's just enough information. And you'll see a few of those white arrows maybe just move away from the B site, play around the information Temp has been able to gather. Zero should be the first one to potentially find himself some action. Back over towards Temp. See, this could be massive if he's able to find these kills.
And this is just patient play from Zero. He's able to at least get one and just stagnate that push from Paris, who, well, now time is ticking down. They got 30 seconds to get this bomb plant. They do have clearance over towards A, but Temp still causing problems, gets the wall bang on Zed, and Paris, well, a man disadvantage once again. They got the work cut out for him. It's all up to, well, now just Dens. See what he can do in a 1 versus 4, but it is a hopeless situation.
Yes. Yes, it is. New York making a statement early here in London. The hardpoint, yes, was close, but they closed it out nicely. The search and destroy hasn't been close at all, Chance.
I mean, this is every single time we come out of a pause, I like have to regroup myself, see like the state of the scene, and I'm like, oh, New York, they have all the pressure in the world on defense. They have all the map positioning. Temp's in a perfect spot. He's already spotted 2 players. He's got free kills and accuracy. Hasn't done anything for 2 rounds. Still just hanging out. Yeah. Still 5-0.
I mean, 9 is the combined stats for accuracy and Zuma, both having great games. And on the other side for Paris Legion, Kismet 0-4. Everybody else 1-4. Paris are struggling here in London. However, a first blood for the Brit Zed. He shuts down Attach. Now Paris actually have the advantage.
No time wasted. He's going straight through it. Players in the corner. Temp doesn't need the help. Zuma's just there to cheer him on. As Temp just soars through, but now Zuma, all the pressure in the world. They got clearance on this B site. And they have, once again, that man advantage. It's going to be Temp and Zuma working together.
That's about as free a kill as you're ever going to get. Temp says, thank you very much. Now, 3 versus 2. Temp with another. Simple kill. He's just walking through Paris like they're not even there. Dens again. Left, last man up. A 1 versus 4. I respect that from Temp.
I mean, it was a nice shot. You definitely heard Dens. Dens was very comfortable taking the gunfight, but either way, I mean, last time it was a 1v4 for him. This time he has another attempt at the 1v4, but still, it just seems like a hopeless situation.
It's just funny seeing the way New York changed that. It was, all right, hunt him down and kill him. Temp, I know where he is. I'm challenging him. Temp dies. All right, guys, just play back. let's not feed him an unnecessary clutch, but a good round overall. You can afford to do that in a 4 versus 1. One person can throw away his life, especially if it's Temp, right? He's feeling confident. He's just picked up 2. He's looking for number 3.
And I was going to say, like, 2 easy kills as well. Like, where's the reaction
Simple
from Kismet?
kills.
Shock dies up top, and you're just staring out the side of the door trying to make a read, but it's just how we've already seen that twice, where Shock just gets killed for free because that B site like window up in the office, they just have no pressure. New York has all the pressure, no reaction from Paris, who've just been getting picked apart. And well, Kismet still in the donut camp.
Yeah, bit rough from him. Of course, he was the player that we were saying you have to keep your eyes out for. And on the flip side, accuracy 5-0, Zuma 5-0 as well. Attach is going to have the first fight, and it's Kismet that gets on the board, but Attach's nade was enough to shut him down. And if accuracy pulls the trigger, through the smoke, not going to happen, but now all of a sudden he may have to spring into life. He goes down. Zed finds 1, 0, and Temp alive for the 2 versus 3. It's going to have to be a retake as well. 0 falls. Temp all on his lonesome. 1v3.
Time for the 1v3, and he has got all of his work cut out for him. He's not in the worst spot in terms of positioning. He has been mapped, but he's going to be loud. Dens is going to hear him. And finally, Paris get on the board, and I got to give a shout out to that smoke as well. If accuracy just didn't have that smoke right in front of him, would have been a free round for the side of New York once again, but you use the utility correctly, you make the right plays, and finally get a little bit of clearance out onto the site. Paris finally striking back.
Problem for them, of course, is this is a very steep mountain to climb. 5-0 down. Need to win 6 in a row. They've done 1. Kismet, of course, gets on the board, 1 and 6. Luca also 1 and 6. Shocks 1 and 5. Paris definitely struggling. Dens, though, doing his best. He's been last man alive for maybe 3 or 4 rounds, it feels like, for Paris Legion. As you can see on the minimap, the way New York have attempted to try to play this round.
Yeah, massive push over to A right now. I mean, Kismet's going on the flank, but he doesn't have a gunfight for quite some time. You of New York have surrounded this A side. Players are through. Temp, though, the most aggressive one on the map. Zed does clean up that kill advantage.
And Dens is huge. Dens is massive because he could shut down this push pretty much single-handedly. As the first player over towards A, you cannot let New York get some free kills as accuracy gets 2. Watching the flank, and that is peekaboo from Attach. Pops up, shuts down Zed, or shuts down Dens rather, as that could be the round. Zed and Shocks. Now for the 2 versus 4, Zed trying to be a sneaky little beaver. What can he find? 60 seconds on the clock. Paris, of course, need every single round, but it's accuracy again. Finds the pick on towards Shock, and Zed all by himself.
It doesn't matter how sneaky you are, you open that door, you're the Kool-Aid man. He comes through and takes down 0, but they know exactly where he is, clean him up instantly, and the subliners on a tear. A dominant 6-1 win.
Yeah, much better in search and destroy coming out from New York subliners from what we saw in opening weekend. Obviously, we're going to reference it a lot because it's the only real data we have on these teams, but New York looking very, very good. good game 1 win and a very convincing game 2. That, of course, gives them the 2-0 lead in the series. That's everything for myself and Chance for now. We'll be back with game 3 after this.